Hey y'all, thanks for checking out Euclid Mining. Today I'm going to be doing a full reconfiguration of the grow tent. I've been dealing with heat issues for a while that I haven't addressed, and today I need to do it. More so than ever because we're going to be getting out of Ethereum pretty soon. It's just a couple days away, and when it does happen, we'll be mining different algorithms like Kawpow, and that's going to put out a lot more heat with these GPUs. So I need to really, get this under control. So I have a vision in my head. It works in my head, but we're going to try it and we're going to do it in the grow tent. So we're going to hop over there. I'm going to show you what I got now, what I'm thinking of, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to shut everything down and I'll see you in just a second. So I got the grow tent opened up, and let's just talk about the setup right now. So I got the 3060 Ti 8-card rig, the 3060 rig over here. I got two 6-inch fans exhausting here. And then over on this side, I have the 4 RX cards and the one A4000. Now, the RX cards that are exhausting here on this side come basically exhaust right in this area from here over to here. So most of it does go down this channel. So that's not that bad. A little bit warms up this card, but we'll get to that. The main problem are the cards all over here that are exhausting directly into this card, and this card just, sucks it up right there. And that's the real problem. This one runs about 20 megahash lower because I have to lower the overclock settings because it's running too hot. And it's mainly because of these cards just exhausting. So I need to do something a little different. Now, my setup, I've got the grow tent on its side, so it's not typical. It would be standing up, but I can't put it over here because we only have one window in this room. My wife doesn't want to block it with a grow tent, but I would need it over here so I can exhaust straight out a little bit easier. As a matter of fact, the grow tent on its side would be better served over here to exhaust straight out, but this room, it's why I call it, this cave. It's got this slanted wall on one side, and it's an awkward room. It's really small. And that's why I'm stuffed in here, because it's the least used room, and that's why my wife used it for exercise and stuff. Anyway, point being, she doesn't want to block the only window in the room, so that's why it's not vertical. And if I can't have it vertical, I can't have it vertical over here because of this wall slanted. So it is on its side, and that's why I'm dealing with this. That is a natural exhaust on the back of it. It is meant to have an exhaust there. I did cut a hole in the grow tent, and I put another one right there, sealed it up so it's got nice and airtight. But that's what I had to do for this. Now, what am I going to do? Because this is not going to change. This is going to stay here. This grow tent is going to stay right where it's at. So I have to deal with the problem that I have here. So here's my thought. The intake for here, I have this one right here and that window. So that's this one right here, comes in, and I just have it sucking some cool air down there. And I'm doing it that way because this one does run a little bit warm, and I'm trying to pull some of that cool air right into this card so it can maybe run a little better, but it still runs a little bit warm. Like I said in the videos, you've seen other ones. I have two cards on this rig that run a little warm, and I believe it's these first ones right here. So that's that being said, they're not that bad, but this rig is having trouble. I'm losing a lot on this one. If I'm going to be going to Kawpow, that's going to be putting out more heat, and I need to solve that problem. So here's what I'm thinking. Since the vents are right here on this side, and I also have one on top, you can see right here, there is one that's meant to be here, and it's right about here, and I have the duct coming in, and I have the duct coming right to about here. So all that air starts on this side and then gets pulled across and then out the exhaust. So I have that one also, and I've debated cutting a hole in the back of this and maybe putting two in here, and then having that come in to add even more air on this side. So I'm not sure yet, just same way I cut a hole on this side. So I'll debate on that. But as of right now, I've got one, I've got two, and I've got the window down there, number 3. So that's what I have right now. But here's what I want to do. I figure because that window is right here, I figure the cool air is coming in from that window and being pulled in this way. So I was thinking, what if I took this rig, left it where it's at, I took this rig and I stacked it on top of this one, because these shelves are As you can see, I don't know if you can really tell, but there's extra shelving down here. I just kind of stacked them on top of each other because I didn't know what to do with the extra pieces. Sort of like this one, I did use this piece on top because I laid this on here, but I've got the extra piece on these. I just put it down below. So I can take that one shelf and bring it up and put it, I could drop this shelf down just a little bit more. I wanted airflow underneath too, but I don't think I need it to be that high up. I could drop this down just a little bit. I could add another shelf close to this one and then put that rig on top and have both rigs here stacked. All right. So now if I got both rigs stacked right here, and then I have this rig, if I took this and I slid it all the way over. So my thought of this is that these two rigs are blowing the air this direction. This rig is slid all the way over here and it's all exhausting in this direction. And then the fans are pulling out. I would take this fan and I would drop it down below so that it would be, this whole column over here would be exhaust air. And then I would have one on the top and one on the bottom. And that way, everything would be stacked up right here, exhausting like this. These would be pushing this way, and these two are sucking it out that way. But like I said, this one would be on the bottom shelf. So this will be the cone of heat over here in this whole section. And then that way with these two stacked, the one on top would be sucking air up high, pulling all of that air out that's coming from the upper rig. And then this other one down low, where all this air is getting pushed out of the bottom rig, getting sucked right out that way too. So anyway, y'all, that's my thought on this. This made sense in my head. I don't know if I woke up from a dream or a nightmare, but we're going to find out. So let me go ahead. This is going to be a lot of work in here to move this all around. So I've got everything shut down. I'm just going to go ahead, unplug these, take that rig out, and take this rig out, lower this shelf just maybe one notch down, maybe two notches down. I think it's about 5 up from the floor. Excuse me. When I say notches, I mean these on the pole. You can see there's little ridges. I think it's about 5 up from the floor, so I think I'll still leave it maybe 2 or 3 up from the floor, so there's still some airflow under it. And then put the other shelf on top as close as I can. I don't know how close I want to put it. I don't know if I should put something on the shelf and then put the rig on top of that piece of, say, wood or something, so it blocks any heat radiating directly up from them into that, because then that'll get hot, or the board and the power supplies will get hot. So I'm not exactly sure if I'll find a piece of wood to put there just to kind of block that heat that may be radiating up, but we'll come to that if I have to do that. I probably won't do it right now. Probably just use the wire racks and do it. But if I have to later on, if there's a heat issue, I may just go ahead and put a piece of wood on the shelf and then put that rig on top of it. Now that's another thought. This one runs cooler, this one runs hotter. So there's the other question. Should this one be on the top? So any extra heat radiating out of it is not radiating to this. That actually might be something. So you know what? I'm going to put the 3060 rig on the bottom. I'm going to put the 3060 Ti rig on the top, and we're going to try it that way. If it's still too much heat, I may put a piece of wood on it and then put the rig back on top of that with the shelf. So, and then like I said, this whole shelf, I'm going to slide it all the way against that wall, and that way all of that air will exhaust in that direction, and none of it will be hitting any of the cards. It'll be completely exhausting that way. So I'm going to give it a shot. Let's move some stuff around, and I'll be back in just a little bit. All right, y'all, well, there it is. So I think I got it the way I want it. I've got the 8-card 3060 rig on the bottom. I've got the 3060 Ti on top. I did that because the Ti puts out a little bit more heat, and I didn't want any of it radiating up and making the 3060 rig hot. So I put it on top. Hopefully it just gets sucked right out the fans. If it does start to get a little warm, I will put a piece of wood on this shelf and then just sit the whole rig on it to block any heat coming up on it. So we'll check that as we go. I know I didn't move the fans. I wanted to move that one down below and have them vertical, both sucking out that way, but there's not enough slack in the line. So it is what it is for now. I'll have to come to that. Now I'm standing relatively straight to the rig. You can see I do have it angled a little bit into that direction. So hopefully it moves in that area. For both rigs are angled that way. I've got the 4 cards down here all lined up in 1, 2, 3, 4, all in the cone of heat down there. I do have the A4000 over there. You can see it. That one is angled also. It's an open air rig, so I'm able to turn the card, and if you look straight down at it, you can see how it's angled. And that's just because if it was coming straight out, it would go right in front of these cards. And I just thought, you know what, if I can angle it like that, it'll just shoot off in that direction, and hopefully push the air out in that way as well, so it doesn't really affect these. And like I said, both of these are angled. So anyway, that's it. The only thing different that I would do here is move the fan down to that shelf. I'd leave that one and move that one down, and I may get to do that. Other than that, you know, that's really it. The other intake that I have is here. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to run this. Before, it used to run in here, and then in between these 2 pipes for the legs for the shelving, it would kind of slide in there, and then it would support it all the way across to here, where then the air would blow down into here or be sucked in down there. Now with it, with these both right here and the angles and what I have going on, I don't know exactly where I'm going to pull that. I may just pull it over into this area and have it come down in this general area, just sucking air down, or maybe I'll have it just resting right here so this rig can suck some of that air in this way. This one does have that little window down there pulling air in right there, so that rig's getting that fresh air. And then this duct here that I have on the floor, when I close this, it'll come in, and I'll just have it turn and just sit right here, and it'll just pump out the air. Maybe I'll have it stop right here, just pumping air in this in just general direction to help that. I may need to put another vent. I have, you know, played with the idea of putting a hole back here, maybe 1 or 2 of them, even putting one here and bringing one in over to this side so it's sucking that air. This one over here is really not the best setup because it has to come all the way across. So I thought about just sealing that up and then putting one here and one more over here, just pulling air straight in onto them, and then one right here pulling air in. Maybe even 2, one on the top, one on the bottom, and have them both come right into this general area so they're pulling in from the bottom and from the top. So any suggestions y'all might have, I really appreciate it. I know I've got a lot of comments on this grow tent. It is a crazy setup. It is the way it is. I explained to you why, and that's just how it is. So look, we're going to fire this thing up. Everything's plugged up. Everything's ready to go. I'm going to power this thing up. We're going to check it out on Hive, and we're going to see if we get some decent numbers out of it. All right, let's hop over. All right, y'all, we're back up and running. I'm going to go ahead and show you the rigs. We'll break them down one by one. Here's the $1 million Ravencoin mining rig. It's now mining Ethereum, but that's the 8-card RTX 3060 Ti LHR cards. Of course, LHR is not a factor, but these are them right here. So let's go ahead and bring a screenshot up of the temperatures before the change. So I did tweak this one and moved it up a little bit before. You saw it was down pretty hard, and it was running at 69 degrees. Now it's up to almost 45, and it's running at 68. So I will work with that a little bit, but that same card is still warm. So I did talk about in the video before that I did want to put some vents on this side. So I may put 2 vents on that side, put the ductwork in, and have one go straight to that 3060 Ti and one down lower that'll go straight to the 3060 rig. I think putting that air directly on those cards at the end will make a difference with this card, especially because, as you can see now, without having that 4-card rig, 5-card technically, blowing directly on it, it's getting better numbers and better temperature. That 5-card rig is moved all the way over, so it's blowing out in that, you know, column, that cone of heat area. So it is doing much, much better. Let's look at the other ones. So 66 on this one, and it's the same, 67. So we did come up 1 degree here. 65, we stayed the same. 65, we did come up 1 degree. 67, we went down 1 degree. 69, we went down 2, and 67, we went down 2 as well. So that makes me happier overall. I know we did come up a degree here and there, but that is not a problem because at 66, I am I am just fine with that. 65 would be great, but some 66 are just fine. It's this one right here that we're going to worry about, and that's where I think that extra duct is going to make the difference there. So we'll get to that one when we get there. Overall, I got to tell you, I am happy with the results in here, so we're going to move on. Let's look at the 5-card rig. Here we are here. Temperatures are the same. I mean, 57. I don't know if you could ask for anything better than that. 60, 66, 65, again, all sitting pretty. I would love to squeeze another little bit out of these two cards, the for 2 480s, and get them going a little bit better. But ultimately, I'm happy with where I'm at. I've got this one at its optimal hash rate. As a matter of fact, it should be around 60, 61.64. So I'm happy with this. And it's at 66. So if I really wanted to squeeze more out of this, I could. But at 124 watts, I'm fine with this 4-card rig. So the 580, the 570 are running nice and cool. The 2 480s are running extremely cool. And the A4000 is running great. I can't complain. But they were running great before too. I really never had a problem with that. So here's a 3060 rig. Let's take a look at that one. That one's going to be the real check here. And as soon as I turned this on, I did have to hop over and check this one because it jumped up to almost 75. And so I lowered it down dramatically. Now, this rig, this one was on the far side. So now I've taken it and I moved it to this side and I've turned it 180 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees around. So this card is running warm. Now this card is on this end also. That's why, again, I was saying I want to put 2 vents in, 2 pieces of ductwork, one coming in directly in front of the TI rig and one right to the 3060 regular rig. So I think that'll help because it's coincidentally that both of them are on that side. They're the first card in the lineup and they have the highest temperatures. So I did have to drop this one down, and we are mining on Kawpow, so there is more heat, but I did have to drop that down. Let's go ahead. I have a screenshot here also from earlier. So let's go ahead and bring that over and see if we can line that up a little bit. Let's see. All right, so let's look at some numbers on this one. So on this one, we are not lined up. Let's get that OCD kicking. All right, close enough. Okay, now we're close enough. All right, so before this one was running reasonable. It was still running warm, but it was on this side all the way at the end. It's not running as well as I want it to. I did have that one turned down. I had to turn it down even further. That may actually be a card with some issues. We'll look at that as time moves on. I may need to pull that and think about doing the pads on that one. So that might be another video in the future. But for now, let's look at some numbers. So it is down considerably. We are losing about 5.5 mega hash on that. And that's exponential because when you're talking about Ravencoin or Kawpow in general, it is much lower than it should be. Let's see, 71 down to 66, 65, stayed at 65. I was at 68. This one is at 71 now. So this one's running a little warm. 70 down to 65, 69 to 64, 69 stayed the same, 65 stayed the same. Overall, there are some pretty decent numbers. This one is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is this one. And it was at 68. So it is running a little bit warm. I will check where that one is in the lineup. Again, I think that one should be in the middle as they are, I believe, plugged in as they should be on the board. So that one is a middle card. So I am going to look at that one and see maybe why that one jumped up a little bit. It has jumped up a little more than I'd like. But overall, when I look at some of these numbers, 69 down to 64, 70 down to 65, you know, 65 stays the same, 71 down to 66. So you can see overall I have really dropped down in temperature as well. This one I'll look at, and this one I'm definitely going to have to look at. But again, that's going to be that ductwork. I am going to put that in and give that a try, see if that changes that. And if that little bit of ductwork changes that, folks, I think I'll be sitting pretty. This 3060 rig is looking a lot better than it did before. Yeah, and before it was getting 180 to 185. And considering that I am down as far as I am down right now, if I was to get another, 7 mega hash, that would put me even better off than where I was to begin with. So I will look at this one and just verify where that one's located on the board. This one, I know exactly where it is. It is in the first slot over there. This one, well, this one's in 7, so it's probably further down on the lineup. But I'll look at that one. I may need to even move it. I may put one of these great ones in its spot. Take this one here and swap it out with this one. Take the 64 degree and throw it where this one is and just test that. Actually physically move them in the rig and see if that makes a difference, but we'll see. Now I do have one mining box, like an Octominer server case. It's not an Octominer. Couldn't afford Octominer. Excuse me, had some pancakes earlier. So it's not an Octominer, but it is a server case, and I may put some cards in there. I may even buy another one of these and put them in there and see if that will help, because in that case, it may be blocking some of that heat, though I don't know if it's going to stop the airflow, because then it'll be forced from only taking the air directly from the back, where now it's taking air from all around. And I don't know if that'll be better or worse for Grow Tent. We're going to test that one out when things change, because once I have everybody on Kawpow, we're going to see some heat changes, especially on that 3060 Ti rig. This one here is definitely going to jump up in temperature. I expect this to be straight 70s across the board, even 71. That's how they ran before when I tried it, when I originally had this on Ravencoin straight up. That's why I built this rig initially. It was for the $1 million Ravencoin mining rig, and the temperatures were hot. It is what it is. But now with the fans and everything blowing away, before the 3060 rig was exhausting towards it, the 3060 Ti rig was exhausting toward that one, and then in the middle, I believe the air was being pulled out. Now you saw what I did, and hopefully this makes a difference. I've had suggestions to get an 8-inch fan. The problem is that even with an 8-inch fan on low, it doesn't pull enough heat out of there on low. It needs to be on medium to really be above what the 6-inch fans are pulling. And the problem is that the noise, it's just too much with those fans. And believe me, I joked and said I wish I could throw a jet engine in there, sucking the heat out of this thing. But unfortunately, I'm locked into where I'm at. I don't have a shed out back yet. It just is what it is. A thought would be in the wintertime to bring these rigs down to the garage and have this grow tent in there, where it'll be pulling like extremely cool air in. And when we get closer to winter, which happens to be very soon, we're in August already, or September. No, we're in September now. Excuse me. We're in September now, and October, it'll definitely be cooling down around here, and November will definitely cool down. We'll have a good 6 months of really nice, cool weather. And I may take this entire rig and bring it down to the garage and set it up down there for 6 months out of the year. And then 6 months out of the year, I may have to have it back up here. If I did have it down there, that cool air it'd solve all my problems. But it's a garage, and it's not a finished garage. Well, it's clean. It's not. Do you ever watch Voscoin? You see his garage? I mean, you could eat off the floors in his garage, okay? I don't even know if I'd go for the 4-second rule in my garage. I mean, it's just got some debris. It's not dirty, but, I keep it relatively clean, but because I have the ASICs out there, but still, it's not. I wouldn't want it to be pulling in more dust. I would definitely have to work on a filtration system for the air being sucked into that tent, for sure. I may even have to have a fan directly pulling air in for it, and then have a filter box on it so that all the air going in there will be clean and not have any extra dust or debris. Even in here, inside there, it gets a little dusty. I have to clean it up. I am due for my fall clean, so I'm going to do that soon as well. I got a lot of little things I got to do. I'm probably talking so long on this video. I just really wanted to go over all of these things because this is the grow tent, and this is what I got. And I know a lot of people out there have grow tents, so a lot of questions that I get about grow tents. And, this is it. The two 6-inch fans venting out. I probably can squeeze another 6-inch exhaust on my window here where I have these two going out. I could probably get another piece of wood and put 3 holes in it rather than just 2 out on the sides. I could kind of move them over a little bit and get a third, and putting a third fan in there. Be honest, another 6-inch fan. When I turn one 6-inch fan on, compared to 2 6-inch fans, the noise difference is barely even noticeable. So I think even having a third one in there really won't be that much different either. So that may be a thought. I would love to have 2 8-inch fans in there and be done with it. But unfortunately, even just one 8-inch fan is just way too loud. And I just, I had one in, I still have it. I have that one 8-inch fan still here. I just haven't used it. It's just too loud. That's nothing really more I could say about it. I didn't buy a second. Maybe if I had them both on low, the noise would be lower or comparable. And then if I had 2 both on low, maybe it would work. But I only have one, and I didn't buy the second one because even just playing with that fan, it's just so loud I can't. It's just my life, guys. You've been watching my videos, and if you haven't, you should definitely hit the subscribe button at the end over there and check out some of them. But my grow tent situation, my A6 situation, so is life. Happy wife, happy life. I love you, honey. So anyway, everybody, that's basically it. I'm going to wrap it up here. I think I'm in better shape. I think those 2 vents on that side are going to make the difference. I think that if I did set up a grow tent in the garage, I would leave this one here because of all the holes I've cut in it, and I put other vents in there. Well, I've only cut that one hole right now on this side. I think if I brought it to the garage, trying to deal with all of that would just be a real headache. So I probably will just buy another grow tent and bring it down to the garage, and then make whatever adjustments on that one I have to. And that way I'll have one there and one up here, and I'll just have to move the rigs. I do move the rigs twice a year at minimum. I think I did it 3 times this year, or this will be the 3rd time coming up. When I move them, I take them outside and I clean them with the blower. I've got a little blower fan that I use, and I try to dust them out, clean them out, get them a little shiny and new, and then bring them back up. I've done it twice. I will probably do it again when we go into fall, and maybe when I bring them outside to clean them, I'll just walk them straight into the garage and set them right up there and be ready to go. So we'll see as the months move on into October, and we'll see. Actually, we'll really be able to tell in about 9 days because Ethereum's going away, and I most likely will not be mining Ethereum Classic. So yeah, little thought on that one. We'll see how that works. So anyway, y'all, appreciate you checking in. Comments, you know where they go. They go right down below. I love to see them because I love to hear what you're doing. I love the suggestions, and I thank everybody so much for all the suggestions. There's been so many, and I love to see that. I feel engaging with I hate to say my audience, but with my friends. I consider you all friends. Don't ask me to lend you any money, but overall, I spend a lot of time with you. I answer a lot of questions. I get a lot of comments, and I love them. And thank you so much for all the positive comments and the technical comments that have really helped me in some ways. I have made tweaks to my rig over the past year that I've been doing this, almost a year, and it's been thanks to a lot of you. So keep them coming. Hit me down below. Don't beat me up too bad, and definitely give me that thumbs up. I probably should mention that more in the beginning of the video because people might not watch the end when I start babbling on like this and then hear me say, hit that button. Anyway, I'll have another video. I'll probably throw one of my first grow tent experiments up. Maybe I'll put the very first one that I ever did, which was a complete failure, and y'all could get a good laugh on that one. But anyway, I appreciate you checking in, and I'll see y'all next time.